start with that breaking news. Of course, it's been confirmed that Huw Edwards will leave the BBC. He's resigned on medical advice.
A spokesperson said Huw Edwards has today resigned and left the BBC. He's been off air since July last year, and the Sun newspaper reported that he had paid a young person for sexually explicit images.
Well, this is, of course, a momentous moment because Huw Edwards was the highest paid star of the BBC.
He's in many ways the face of the BBC.
He fronted their election coverage. He was the man to tell the world that Her Majesty the Queen had passed away. It'll be hard to imagine sort of a great occasion of state without him there, but it's easy to forget. It's been 9 months now.
Well, actually, in fact, all of those things that you've just said are reasons why I think for some people of a particular generation, he's so inextricably associated with the BBC that is the reason why this incident was such an enormous, to put it lightly, PR problem, optics problem for the BBC. And of course, it's only recently been reported that he'd been living at home with his mother and continuing to be paid this extraordinarily large salary. I think it was over £400,000 a year, despite not being on air for a number of months. And there was a lot of kickback against that. So presumably his resignation is, he's perhaps struggling with his mental health following this, and that's the reason why he's living at home with his mother. And perhaps he's chosen to resign, to essentially to stay away from that kind of kickback if he were to continue to be paid that salary while the investigation is ongoing.
I think the moment that became public, that sort of... it was revealed that amount of pay was still going into his pay packet every single month. Surely this moment became inevitable from that time.
Of course, the BBC's investigation hasn't completed its findings
Although
yet.
the Metropolitan Police found no criminality. So there is that to add into the mix.
Question
as well.
marks were raised as well that the BBC had been sort of dragging its feet on this investigation somewhat. So, as I say, presumably he's chosen to resign because of the kickback that he received publicly for still being paid.
Well, there we go.